YouTube, yes sir, it's your boy. We're back with another video. In today's video, I'm gonna be giving you guys 3 different forex strategies that you guys can use as a scalper. Okay, now keep in mind, when you get into trading, you do not know which strategy works best for you. So in this video, I'm gonna be giving y'all 3 strategies that I have tried, one that I'm using right now, and they have a high win rate and is very effective. Okay, so you guys do not know what type of strategies you guys use or want to use, stay tuned for this video because I'm literally gonna break down every strategy and show you guys why this might be best for you guys. Okay, so before I even get into the video, man, if you guys haven't subscribed to the channel, go subscribe to the channel. We're almost at 200 subscribers. If you guys haven't joined my free Discord, the link will be down below. Once I hit 500 subscribers on my YouTube channel, I'll be giving out 2 funded challenge to whoever's in my Discord. Okay, so if y'all haven't, man, go tap in and go subscribe to the family. All right, but let's get into the video, man. So y'all see on my screen, I have 3 different pairs. I have GJ, I have gold, and I have NOS 100. Okay, so on these 3 pairs, there's gonna be 3 different strategies, and I'm gonna break down step by step on how I use these strategies, and hopefully it gives you guys an answer to whatever strategies you guys have been looking for. Okay, so on GJ, the first pair that I'm gonna break down is GJ, and it's gonna be a supply and demand strategy. Okay, so let's get right into it, man. So first things first, right? When it comes to supply and demand, right? Let me erase this box. So let's say I get to the charts right here, right? So I have a lot of videos on supply and demand. You guys haven't seen the other videos, go watch the video, man. I literally break down everything step by step. Okay, but in this video, I'm gonna break down the same thing so that you guys can understand it. Okay, so the first thing I do when I get onto my chart, right? So this is what I'm seeing on the 5-minute on GJ, right? Cool. What I do, the first thing I do is I go to the 1 hour, right? Because I have to understand where the trend is at and where price could potentially go to. Okay, so I use my 1 hour. Cool. We're above the 200 EMA, right? We're above the 200 EMA, and we're also breaking structure, right? Price broke above these highs, right? That's where the high was, and price broke above, right? Cool. So I understand on the 1 hour. Now I'm gonna go to the 4 hour. Okay, what is the 4 hour doing, right? Let me erase this. The 4 hour is doing the same thing that the 1 hour is doing, right? What is happening? We're above the 200, right? We're breaking structure to the upside. This is the most previous high, right? So again, I'll put the line right there. So as you can see, this 4 hour candle broke above, right? So cool. So in the 1 hour and the 4 hours telling me that we are bullish. Okay, so what am I doing? I'm only looking to buy. Okay, now once I understand the trend on the 1 hour and the 4 hour, I go down to the 5-minute, right? Because that's my entry time frame, right? Now as I get to the 5-minute, what am I seeing, right? We're also above the 200, right? We're breaking all of these highs. Okay, so let me put the line right here, right? So price is above, we're breaking structure, and the higher time frame telling me that we're bullish, right? So all 3 time frames are lining up together. Okay, so now I'm really confident in taking buys. Okay, I just have to see where my setup is at. Okay, so how do I find my setup, right? Where was the aggressive buying coming in at, right? It came in at this level, right? You see how this big bullish candle right here, it broke these highs, right? So this one candle right here took out these highs, right? So cool. So this is at this point right here, this is where the bullish move started. Okay, so now I have to find my demand zone, right? So how do I draw my demand zone, right? I have to see if there's a gap. Okay, because whenever there's a gap, there's a high probability that price will always come back, fill in the gap, tap into your zone, and go in the direction you're trying to go for, right? So again, now I see a gap right here, right? So like I said, when you draw your zones, you want to see where the move started, right? Where that aggressive move started, and then you want to look at the previous candle before that move started and draw your zone around that. Okay, so as you guys can see right here, at this point right here, this bullish candle, right? That was where the move started, right? So I always look left and I look at the previous candle that was printed. Okay, so I see there's a bearish candle that was printed. Cool. So I draw my box at the top of that bearish wick, right, to the bottom of this bullish wick, right? Because this wick, this candle right here was where the move started. Okay, so this is my demand zone. Now why did I draw my zone like this? Because we have a gap. As you can see, when this bullish candle right here took off, right, this next candle that came down, it only came down to here, right? So where's the gap at? The gap is from the top of that box, right, to this wick right here, right? Because why? Because price has not come back into here to fill in the gap, okay? So once I understand that, I leave my gap there, right? Just to make sure that, okay, price has to fill in the gap before I even look at taking buys, okay? So what I do, I just wait it out, right? So let's play this out. Boom. So what just happened here, right? This bearish candle filled in the gap, right? So we could take out the gap. And as it fills in the gap, it's also tapping into my zone, right? So do I take an entry right here? No, I do not. Because why? I need to wait for my confirmation, okay? So what is my confirmation, right? My confirmation is the break of the candle high, okay? So let's play this out. Okay, we still haven't broken no candle, because when this bearish candle tapped into the box, the high of this candle was this wick up here, right? So nothing hasn't broken that yet, right? So cool. So now I have a bullish candle printing, right? So if the next candle break this bullish high, I will be entering, okay? So let's play this out. Boom. So right there, see how this candle wick down and then it wick up and it broke this previous bullish wick, right? I'm entering my trade right there, right? I'll put my stops below here. And then what I do, I go for my 1-to-1. I always go for a 1-to-1 because most of the time when you go for a 1-to-1, it's most likely going to hit, okay? You do not want to be too greedy, and you don't want to hold your trade for so long, because what's going to happen? The price is going to come back, take you out, and eventually if you don't even have a stop loss, you're going to lose money, okay? So always go for your 1-to-1, right? If the trend is very bullish, then you could go for 1-to-2, 1-to-3, right? But always be careful when you're going for a higher RR, because most of the time price is not going to let you get that high of an RR, okay? It's going to come back, it might take you out at break even, or it might come down to your stop loss, okay? So again, how do I put my stop loss? I always put my stop loss below the zone, right? Because if price breaks below the zone, the trade is invalid, okay? And then I target my 1-to-1. So let's play this out. Boom. Just like that, right? It's really that simple. Supply and demand is so simple, because you have to understand, when there's an aggressive move, right? That means the banks are probably pushing the money. Big investors are throwing money into the market, right? So what they're gonna do, they're gonna have to come back to let other investors come in, so that it could keep pushing price to the upside, right? So you always have to understand that you do not want to be the person that start the move. You want to come second, okay? So wait for price to come back, take your trade, right? And then just go from there, okay? So this is a supply and demand setup. This is what I use on a daily basis. It works very effectively, and as long as you have your higher time frames lining up with your 5-minute, you should be good on this trade, okay? So that's supply and demand, right? Now let's go over to gold. So this is gold, okay? So let me replay this right here. So let's say if I get onto the charts, right? Oh, actually, before I even get to that, what this strategy is a breakout, okay? So usually when you're trading breakouts, right, you have to understand that price has to be consolidating, okay? It has to be ranging left and right in order for you to have a breakout, okay? So as you can see on gold right now, right? Let me take this up. As you can see how price is really choppy, right? Price is literally just going sideways like this, right? It's literally, that's all it's doing right now, right? So do you want to be taking a trade right now? No, you do not, because there's no volume, okay? There's a lot of orders being collected right now, but there's no volume that's going to indicate, are we going to the upside or are we going to the downside, okay? So this is going to be a breakout trade, right? So the first thing I do on a breakout trade, right? Most of the time, you don't even have to look at the hard time frame, right? But you can, okay? So let's go here. So as you can see, right, the 1 hour is bullish, right? We're above the 200. We have this big bullish candle, right? And the 4 hour is telling us we're bullish as well. We're above the 200 EMA, right? And then also we are breaking structure to the upside. These are the highs over here, right? And then we're breaking D structure as well, right? So cool. So the 1 hour and the 4 hours telling us that we are bullish, right? So now let's go down to the 30-minute. Oh, keep in mind, since this is a breakout trade, right? I do not recommend taking a breakout trade on a 5-minute, because there most likely is going to be a lot of fake outs, okay? So if you want to use this strategy, you will be taking your trade on the 30-minute time frame, okay? So what I see most of the time is when you're on the 30-minute, right, it's a very powerful time frame, right? It's gonna take you a little bit longer to take your trade, but if this is a strategy you want to use, I definitely recommend you stay on the 30-minute time frame, right? And then use the 1 hour and the 4 hour to understand your trend, okay? So as you see, I'm on the 30-minute time frame, right? So what am I seeing right here, right? I am seeing that price is moving sideways, right? And that means price is consolidating, okay? You do not want to take a trade when price is consolidating, because it can either go up or it can either go down, right? But keep in mind, we have the higher time frames in our favor, right? It's telling us that we have a lot of buying volume in the market today, right? So how do I draw my zone? So I would just draw my zone right like that, right? So I'll draw my zone right here, right? Again, there's no such thing as an exact zone, okay? You just have to draw it and understand that a zone is just an area, okay? It's not an exact price, it's not an exact number, okay? So I'll draw my zone right here, because as I can see, when price comes here, right, it rejects, right? When price come here, it's rejecting, right? It's having a hard time breaking above, right? And then I draw my other zone right here, right? Because why? Because as price come back down to this zone right here, it rejects, right? And then as price come here again, it rejects, right? So when you're in the range, it's gonna tap from one level, go down to the other level, come back up to the level, reject that level, and come back down, okay? That's what a range is, okay? So as you can see, right, I have a range right here, right? So in this situation, right, there's two things that can happen, right? Price can either play around in this level, right, break down, and then come back, right, and then break down again, right, or price could play around, right, break up, come back, and then break back up, right? So that's why you don't want to trade a range, because you have to understand that there's no volume yet, right? There's a lot of orders down here, and there's a lot of orders up here, right? What that means is there's a lot of liquidity, okay? There's a lot of money just sitting at these levels, okay? So what do I do now, right? So I have my zone, right? Now what do? I wait for price to break out above the zone or below the zone, okay? So you always have to understand, since the 1 hour and the 4 hours telling you that you are bullish for the day, you most likely just want to look for price to break up, okay? So let's play this out. Boom. So now you see, right, at this candle right here, we have a big bullish candle that broke out, okay? So there's two things that you could do here, right? For one, you could immediately take your trade as soon as price break above the zone, right? As soon as price break above the zone, put your stop loss below where these wicks are, right? And then go for your 1-to-1, right? Let's see. You see what I mean? You go for you could go for a 1-to-1 as soon as you see price breaking above the zone, right? Or there's another thing that you could do, which I prefer, right? So if once we get a candle to close above, right? So you see how this candle closes above? You see how this bullish candle didn't close above the zone, but this one did, right? Once the candle closed above the zone, I will wait for the next candle to break this candle high, right? So if I play this out, boom. So you see how this candle broke this candle high? So what I would do is I would enter once it breaks right here, right? And then I'll put my stop loss below that candle, and then I'll target a 1-to-1, right? And literally that's literally that simple, okay? So if I was you, I wouldn't just take the trade once it break out, because most of the time it can just break out and then come back into the zone, right? I would want to wait for it to break out as well as close above the zone, okay? So as you can see, this candle right here, it closed above the zone, right? And then this next candle broke this candle high. That would be where I'm entering, okay? I'm entering right here. And then always put your stops below that candle that got broken, okay? Below that candle, because you're on the 30-minute, okay? So put it below and then go for your 1-to-1, and it's literally that simple, okay? So this is a breakout trade, right? So this works really well, especially I noticed if you are trading London session, right? That pre-London is usually when price is consolidating, and then when London session open up, that's when price is gonna show you which way it wants to break out to. All right, so if you trade gold, this works really well on gold. I see gold consolidate most of the time before a session starts, so you could always do this on the 30-minute time frame, and then once it break out, wait for it to close and take your next candle break. Okay, so that's a breakout trade. Okay, so literally just find your zone, find where the ranges are, see where price is rejecting and bouncing from, right? Check your higher time frame, and then from there wait for a candle to close above or below the zone and take the next break. Okay, go for your 1-to-1, put your stops below the candle that just got broken and take your 1-to-1. all right, So that's the breakout trade. Now the third strategy I'm going over with you guys is gonna be on NOS 100. Okay, so this is a break and retest. Okay, so let me replay this right here. All right, so this is a break and retest. It's like support and resistance. It's literally the same thing, right? But how you want to do this is you have to see where there's a break of structure, right? This is where you have to understand market structure. Okay, so let's go to the 5 minute. Right, I'll actually do this on the 5 minute for you guys. Right, so let me replay this. So with the support and resistance, break and retest, right, you could do it on the 5 minute, the 15, 30, 1 hour, 4 hour, whatever the case might be, right? But the previous strategy that we went over, I only recommend the breakout on the 30-minute time frame. Okay, now for GJ supply and demand, always a 5 minute for me, right? For the NOS 100, this is going to be support and resistance, break and retest. You could do it on any time frame, but again, you could do it on the 5 minute as well. Okay, so as you can see right here, right, you have to understand what a break of structure is, right? So these were the highs that were right here, right? As you can see, right, this was the highs at this level, right? So you could draw out your line right here, right? So now why am I considering this high, right? Because this bullish candle broke above these highs. Okay, so what does that mean? We are breaking structure to the upside. Okay, so when you see this, right, when you see there's candles right here and then you see a big push to the upside and it breaks above all of these, we are breaking structure. Okay, so now I understand that. Cool, we have a high that's being taken out right here, like all three of these right here, 1, 2 and 3, right? It's all being taken out by this one bullish candle. Okay, so I should only be looking for buys. Okay, now let me go to the 1 hour, right? What is the 1 hour telling me, right? The 1 hour is telling me that we are above the 200 EMA, right? I always use the 1 hour and the 4 hour, right? Because that is what's gonna show me what the trend is gonna be for my daily buys. Okay, so we're above the 200 EMA, right? We are not taking out lows, right? Because as you can see, these are the lows. We're constantly making higher lows, right? So we're not breaking structure to the downside, right? So what is that telling me? We are going to the upside. Okay, now let's go to the 4 hour. What is the 4 hour telling me? 4 hours telling me the same thing, right? We are obviously bullish, right? You see how prices is going up, right? And also again, we're above the 200 and we're not breaking lows. We're not breaking these lows, right? We're not taking out these lows. We're not taking out these lows. And we're not taking out these lows, right? So again, we have all the confluences that we are bullish on the higher time frame. Okay, now once I figured out, let's go back to the 5 minute. Right now, what is the 5 minute telling me? Right, again, we are breaking structure to the upside. We're breaking these highs, right? And we're also above the 200 EMA. Okay, so cool, I have all my time frames lined up. So now what do? I have to see where that candle took out the previous high, right? So this candle took out this previous high right here, right? So that's the previous high. I'm gonna draw a line right here, right? And I'll put a box around it, right? I'll put the box right here. Again, your box doesn't have to be accurate, because why? Because a zone is a certain area. It's not a certain price. Okay, there's no exact price. Okay, so as you can see, right, it just looks clean, right? It looks clear as day. This bullish candle broke up right there. So what I do now, I wait for price to come back to retest that previous high, right, which was right here. Wait for that retest, and then once it gives me my confirmation, I'll take my buy to the upside, right? So let's play this out. So what am I doing right now? I'm just waiting, right? I'm waiting for price to come back to here. Okay, so let's play it out again. Boom. So you see how that candle, right, this candle came down, retested this zone, right? And you see how it rejected, because this bearish candle is obviously full at this point, and it turned out to be this small. Okay, so that's a retest. Okay, this candle came back to retest that area. Second thing is, it's showing me that, okay, cool, we have buying pressure, because now this bearish candle looks really weak. Okay, so what do? Right, I wait. Still waiting. We haven't taken out any candle highs yet, okay? So let me wait. Boom. So this is my entry right here. So you see how this candle, the first bearish candle came out to retest, right? And then this next bearish candle printed. I'm not entering yet. Why? Because we never took out a candle high, okay? So this candle came back to retest, right? This bullish candle broke above this bearish candle, right? It broke above. So what am I doing? I'm entering my trade right here, right? Literally right there. Let me zoom this out for you guys, right? I'll put my stops below the zone, right? And then I would really want to target the next key levels, okay? So as you can see, we have a level right here, right? Because when price came to these levels, right, as you can see, 1, 2, all that rejection, right? This rejection right here, right? Price has a high chance that it could probably reject off of this level, right? So I would literally target this level, right? And then I'll just wait, just let it play out, right? So when you are trading break and retest, you want to target from levels to levels, okay? So again, I don't want to target all the way up here, right? Because we have rejection levels right here, right? So we have like those 3 orange boxes, orange circles, right? Those are rejection levels. So I would not want to target these highs yet, okay? So I would literally take my entry once it break that candle, and then let's just play it out. Literally, it's that simple, right? So what do we do here, right? We looked at the higher time frame, right? We see what price is doing, where the trend is going, right? It literally applies to every strategy, okay? Understanding the trend. Once I understand the trend, I gotta see if there's a break of structure, okay? Now, if there is a break of structure, I will draw my zone to where that previous high was broken, right? Which was right here, okay? And then once it closes above and it shows me that it's breaking that structure, I wait for the candles to come back to retest that previous high, okay? So as you can see right here, it came back to retest. And then once it comes back to retest, I would take my entry on the candle break, okay? So as far as targets, right, you could go for your 1-to-1, right? But when you trade support and resistance, you have a higher chance of it going to the next level, okay? So again, you have to see where there's rejections, right? Then you have to see where price could potentially stop at, okay? So don't be too greedy. Don't take your trade and then try to drag it all the way to the top up here, right? Because why? Because there's so many levels here that price rejected from, okay? So go to the level, right, that is closest to you and has multiple rejections, because that's where price is most likely going to come to, and it could reject or it could break, right? So this is break and retest, support and resistance, however you want to call it. It's all the same thing, right? So in today's video, man, I hope this helped you guys out, right? The first strategy we went over was supply and demand. The second one was a breakout, okay, on the 30-minute time frame. And the NOS 100 was a break and retest and support and resistance, right? So if you guys find this video helpful, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys want me to do next for you guys. But I hope you guys find what strategy works best for you and go test these out, right? Go to your trading view, go back test these strategies. I promise you they work. As long as you keep putting the time, you're gonna get it, okay? Now understand, you're not gonna win every trade with these strategy, but you're gonna have a higher win rate than most of these strategies that are out there, okay? So again, that's all I have for you guys. I'll see you guys in the next video. All right, peace.